Hey, 8th grade. Let's learn how to order numbers from least to greatest or greatest to least. And that would be ascending if you're doing least to greatest, and descending if you're going greatest to least. Probably the difference between the two would be descending is D for down, and ascending would be the other one. I've got you a grouping of numbers up here, and they're all different flavors, and that's always good to see because you never know what's on your STAR test. So let's build a chart so then we can be a little more organized. So stop the video and build a chart. Alrighty, so here's my chart. Hopefully yours looks the same. I put 3 columns on mine. First of all, here's your numbers, and I just pulled them from the story, and they were up there. So 87.5%, -2 and 25 hundredths, 24 over 8, -1/4, 3 square root 2, and 3 2/7. So I built me a chart. I've got my number here. I'm going to put my decimals here when I convert it, and then over here I'm going to use my ranking. So I'm using a TI-83 Plus calculator. Now, I've turned it on, and I probably have stuff in here. So make sure you're clearing it, which is second plus 712. And it should say done. Alright, so here's what I want you to do. I want this set of data in list 1. So go ahead and stop my video and get that in list 1. Alright, so let's see how you type that in that list. So you went to Stat, Edit, and now you're in list 1. Let me see if I can get that a little clearer. That looks a little better. So how did you type those numbers in is probably my first question. So how did you type in 87.5%? And now if you left off the percent, I'm going to have to leave out the check marks, so be careful. So I'm going to type in 87.5. So what does percent mean? Well, that's correct. It's out of 100. So you're going to divide by 100. And if you just type in divide by 100, it'll set your decimal for you correctly. Negative, the negative's down here. It is way down there by the equal sign. And the equal sign, by the way, is enter. So let me get back calibrated here. So then negative 2.25. Negative 2.25. I've got 24 over 8. Now, my kind of 2 cents on that is parentheses. If it's a fraction, put it in parentheses. I could get away without doing it, but do you know when you're supposed to? So I just always do it. This one here, it's -1/4. So negative parenthesis 1 divided by 4. 3 square root 2. So you type in 3, the square root 2. And close that parenthesis if you don't mind. And I'm getting 4.2426. And the last one, 3 and 2/7. So how do you type in a mixed number? So that's going to be parentheses, it's a fraction, 3. And isn't a mixed number a whole number and a fraction? And doesn't and mean add? So if that's true, that would be the whole number plus the fraction. And you would get 3.2857. Now I've already pre-filled my table in for you so we could speed up. So there's my data. Now I hand wrote it on purpose. Probably the biggest reason is so I won't confuse myself later. I'm fixing to get this calculator to sort for me. Now how do you know which one's which if you didn't write it down? Good point. You won't. So let's look at what we're going to do. If we're going to do ascending, now we're going to go back and push Stat. Now, have you ever wondered what sort A and sort D does? Yeah, you should. It's really important. Sort A is sort ascending, and sort D is sort descending. Yep, I know. I was surprised too. So if I want to do ascending, which would be 2, and you just have to push the 2 button. And didn't you put it in list 1? Now, where would you find list 1? You push second and the 1. And that is right down here. Now, if you notice I got a parenthesis open, and you close those because I don't like them open. And you push enter, it's going to say done. That means it did something. Now, if you go back to Stat, which is where your list is, push in Edit, you'll notice your numbers are in different order. But you would have to know who was the original's number to begin with. So I've got negative 2.25 was first. So I'm going to scoot on over. If that's true, let me see if I can get all this on the screen. So if negative 2.25 was first, that makes this one first. I'll put a 1 there. And then I got negative 0.25. Well, that makes this one second. Then I see 8.75, and 8.75 is the first one. That's the third one. I see 3. I can find that one pretty quick. There's your fourth one. I see 3.28. That would be this one, and that's fifth. And that one better be last, number 6. So I've already got them ranked, and all I have to do is find the ABC that matches those. If you wouldn't have taken the time to create this set of data, how would you have ranked them when you didn't know these decimals match these? It takes a little extra time, but I like to get it right the first time versus do it 3 or 4 times. Y'all have a great evening. Goodbye. Hi, I wanted to show y'all how to also find descending order using that graphing calculator. I've made you a table. I've just listed some different numbers, nothing special for anything. So my question to you would be, how would you set this problem up to do descending order utilizing your calculator and a pencil? Yes, those are some good ideas. I like the idea you're saying use a chart. Now my chart's pretty full, but I have this cool thing called a pen. I can add to it. I would probably add enough for 2 columns. I'll just make a little one there. Because I'm going to put the decimal here. If I can write nice. And then I'm going to put the ranking here. You know, without that ranking, I'm going to be lost. And without that decimal, I'm going to be really lost. So I would like you to stop the video and insert these sets of data into your list 1. And let's see what your decimals looks like. Alright, so I've got my calculator set up here. I'm fixing to type these in. You should have already typed them in. At this point, we're just checking your work. So how did you get to a list? Well, I pushed stat. And if you notice, you're in edit calculator test. Well, you're going to edit a list because technicality, you didn't actually create that list. So here we go. I'm going to start. Now, if you notice, I got the first one typed in. And actually, I want to clear that so you can see how I typed it in. And how do you clear the whole list? Do you remember? Yes, you go up here, hit clear, and then push enter. Make sure my screen is clean. So, and did it clear? Did now. So, we're going to type those information in and see what we get. So, I'm going to type in 0.72 and divide by 100. Why am I dividing by 100? That's correct. It's a percentage, so in percents of 100. So, I'm going to push the enter button. I'm going to get 0.0072. Check yours. I'm going to get 5 the square root of 6, and and close that parenthesis, and your square root is over there beside the comma. You have to push the yellow button. And I got, let's see here, 12.247. And then the next one I see negative 3/8. So if it's a fraction or an improper fraction or a mixed fraction, I want parentheses. So I've got parentheses, and we talked about a whole mixed number. So that's going to be the whole number. In technicality, where would you put the negative? You're correct. It would be on the other side. So let's get rid of that. I want a negative parenthesis 2 plus 3 divided by 8, and close that door as well. And if you push that enter button, you'll get negative 2.375. 14 is going to be 14. I don't think I can put it in for sure, but I think I kind of know what it looks like. The next one, what about 3.2 times 10 to the first? How would you put that in the calculator? So I'm going to type 3.2. Do you know where the E is in the calculator? It's right here, if I can get my sight on. Right there. It's 2 E's. Help if I put it on the screen. It's right there. I know it's 2 E's, but it only show up as 1, and I'm not sure why there's 2 in the first place. So you're going to push the yellow button to get the yellow buttons. There's your E. And isn't the exponent over there 1? Certainly. So you're going to put a 1 there, and you're going to push enter. And you should have known it was 32 anyway. But anyway, let's type it in the correct way. So I've got that list of numbers. Now I'm going to compare that to the ones I've written and make sure I didn't write anything wrong. That really hurts if you copy stuff wrong. And looks like my data looks pretty sharp. So I want descending. Now, how did you do ascending a while ago? Yes, you're right. So you push stat, and if you see A for ascending, more than likely that one's descending. So I'm going to push 2. Where did you... Whoop, that's ascending. Sorry. How about 3? Where'd you put your data? List 1? And yes, again, close that parenthesis and push enter. Sure. It says done, so you have to go back to see what it's done. Go back to stat, edit. Now, there's your numbers, and that's greatest to least, descending, numbers going down. So 32 is first. So that'll be first. Looks like 14 would be second. 12 would be third. 0.0072 would be 4. And this negative number would be last place, taking 5th. Hopefully that helps a lot on the ascending and descending using your calculator. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.